It's Arts and Crafts Day. So I'm gonna do my best Bob Ross impression, and we're actually painting up the front calipers. I picked a set of big brakes up for the 350Z. So before I throw them on the car, I wanna get them painted up nice and pretty. So I've got like a little custom idea in mind. So right now they're just like the plain base silver. So we're gonna go through the steps of how to prep for paint and actually go through and paint those calipers before we throw them on the car. So let's get into it. Anytime, no matter what it is you're gonna be painting, preparation is key. So we've actually gathered up our needed supplies. So I've got some rubbing alcohol, so that way we can clean the surface of our brake calipers, get those nice and clean, so that way the paint will adhere to it. And then got some painter's tape, so that way we can tape up the areas that aren't gonna be painted. And so my idea is, what I'm thinking about doing is I'm actually gonna do two colors. So ultimately, the whole brake caliper is gonna be black overall, but then I've seen guys do like decals or, you know, some kind of graphic on like the exposed part, the part that you'll see through the wheel. So what I would like to do is I'm gonna kind of put a little custom chaos touch on there, and you already know. So we're gonna try to spell out chaos on the blank part of our caliper. So my idea in my head is, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna paint the exposed surface white, all white, and then I bought some decals that I'm gonna put on there to spell out chaos. Paint it black over top of that, so then when I remove the decals, hopefully, in theory, if all goes well, it should look pretty good, but everything should be done in paint versus like a stick-on decal, but it should be the black caliper with the white chaos lettering on there. So it'll be custom, one of a kind. So let's get into it. Let's prep these up before we start painting. And I have a feeling you're probably thinking to yourself, what the heck? Why are you doing it like that? Because what I've actually done is just kind of sectioned off the part that I'm just gonna paint white. Because remember, the only part that I really want white is just where the letters are gonna stand out. So I'm gonna paint a little section white, and then, so what I ended up doing was taping it around and basically covering it with a plastic bag. That way, because I'm gonna do probably about 3 or 4 coats of the white and then stick my letters on. This is the end result. Like I said, I've just sectioned off just a little spot here that's what's gonna be white. Now that I got one caliper done, it's time to repeat the process for the other. So we have everything prepped and ready to go. Now it's paint time. So moment of truth. And like I said, this part won't matter so much just because the white is very minimal for what I'm trying to do. So I'm still gonna do my best, but it doesn't have to be perfect. This is after the first pass. So we're getting there, but I feel like a lot of that silver is still showing through, and it's not exactly wanting to cover up. So we'll see exactly how many coats it's gonna take. So we're gonna let it dry just a little bit, and then we'll hit it with a second coat, possibly third, maybe fourth. We'll see how that goes. Day one in the books, we went ahead, we got the calipers prepped up and several base coats down of the white. So I think I ended up doing 4, and I kind of started out light and got a little heavier handed each time I went back. But so I've done 4 total coats. So we're gonna let it sit up overnight, and then we'll tackle it again tomorrow. And then we'll be able to put the decals on and start spraying some black. Here comes the moment of truth. So I've got all the white sprayed to my liking. So now we're actually gonna do the big unveil and see how it actually turned out. So this, again, is gonna be the base. We're gonna put our letters on here. So the white is gonna be like our lettering. So it's dry to the touch. So let's start taking the wrapping off and see how badly we did. Nah, I think we did a good job. I'm pretty pleased with the way this turned out. So I'm actually kind of really digging the white. Almost got me second guessing, should I've done the whole caliper white and then with the black letters, but I think the white will be harder to keep clean. But man, it does look really good. So I think I did all right. And again, I didn't do the entire caliper surface. I just did the white in that one section just because we're gonna put letters on there, and the only part I needed was that center section. So my thought process for these calipers is I picked up this letter sheet from Michael's, and I'm just gonna do the chaos lettering on each of the caliper. So I'm gonna work on that next. So this is kind of what the look we're going for. So what I've done is actually took our big letter sheet and I just cut out the individual letters that we're wanting. And so they're just loosely stuck up here, as you can tell, as they fall off. But they're loosely stuck up here. And I think what I'm gonna do is use this distinct line on the caliper itself. I'm gonna use that to line the letters up. And if you notice, there's actually an indentation in the middle here. That should be our center point of the caliper. So I'm going to take the A, get it situated and in place exactly where we want it, and then kind of that'll be our benchmark, and we'll kind of work, you know, outwards towards both sides. So once we get that A in place, then we've got 2 letters on each side to work with and get lined up. I pretty much just freestyled it. So originally my plan was kind of to measure it out and kind of get it all perfect. But then as I was measuring and stuff, it was just kind of, I really felt like it was just kind of better to do it by eye. So that's what I ended up doing. And I actually think it turned out well. So looking at the 2 calipers side by side, I definitely kind of think this one is our all-star. This one I'm really pleased with. Not that this one isn't good, it's just I feel like it's little bit more crooked, not quite as spot on as I would like, but I really am actually digging the black letters in the white caliper. Part of me is kind of thinking I should have gone with that, but I'm just so afraid that, you know, with the pearl on the car itself and then this white, it just would kind of clash. So I'm anxious to get them painted black next. And then my only concern is when we pull these letters off, I just really hope, I'm pretty sure that the paint was dry enough to put these stickers on. I mean, it doesn't feel tacky or anything like that. I just hope that we don't lose any of this white paint after we start to pull the letters off. A few choice words and a lot of frustration later. I've got the calipers all masked up. I actually used 3 different kinds of tape. Nothing really wanted to stick to it, so like I said, it's just been a little frustrating. This is what the final masking job looked like. So what I've actually done is kind of used the combo of an old t-shirt that I stuffed down in the center so that way it protects the pistons, and then put some index cards just because, like I said, the tape didn't want to stick, so I was trying to get creative. So I've used tape to kind of hold it on the bottom and just try to cover up everything that you don't want to get paint on. So now we're finally ready for the black paint. So we're gonna get outside and spray our first coat of black. At this point, the paint process is honestly dragging out way longer than I ever anticipated. I should really be able to knock it out in like 2 sessions or 2 days. You know, the initial white paint, give it maybe a day to dry, then the black paint, and then the clear on the same day. I just ran out of daylight, unfortunately. So I've got all the black down that I want. So I'm just gonna hit it with one more black just to kind of, you want the clear to go on with the black kind of tacky. So I'm just gonna do one quick, really light black just because I'm happy with the color and it's covered completely in black. So I'm just gonna hit it once over with the black just so then I can follow up with a clear and finally be done with this project, and then we can finally see what the finished product looks like. This is the part I'm a little bit nervous for. So the paint is still a little bit wet, still a little bit tacky because we want it to be tacky when we spray the clear. So what I'm having to do now is I'm going to remove our stickers, the chaos stickers, to reveal the white underneath. but I have to do it very carefully so do not scratch anything. Yes, let's go, baby. I think those look so good. I'm so hyped on those right now. I was a little nervous peeling them off because I was having to use like scalpel-like precision to peel that sticker back, and I was just afraid I was gonna cut into the white, but it turned out amazing. I'm so happy. So while they're still tacky, I'm gonna go ahead and get the first coat of clear on there.
So after a few rounds of clear, now they're dry enough, we can start pulling the tape off and see what they look like.
This is actually where we're gonna close this video out. We're not gonna install them today. Gonna let them finish curing up, drying up, and then we'll finally get them on the car. But man, I can't wait. I'm so pleased with the way they turned out. So obviously I'm no professional and I'm just kind of winging it the whole time, but I think the biggest part you can do to help the process go along is the preparation. So even though it's a pain in the butt and it takes forever, the more careful you are taping everything up and masking it off, the better it'll turn out. Super pleased on the way it turned out. Love the custom lettering. 1 of 1. Nobody's got that one. If you will, subscribe to the channel. It really helps out. Let me know in the comments what you think. Get out there, try it for yourself. Be creative, stand apart. But thanks again for watching. We'll catch you in the next one.